I saw this quote the other day that said, "You'll never feel ready because ready isn't a feeling, it's a decision." And that one hit because how many times have you ever felt like you're not ready? Then I really started thinking about what causes us to continuously feel like we aren't ready. So today I want to just share with you 5 key reasons I believe is what's holding you back and stopping you from becoming the best version of you. I truly believe one of the biggest reasons why we never feel ready is because we're overthinking too much. It's like going into a vehicle, closing the door, starting the engine, and hitting the gas pedal all while you're still in park. Yeah, the engine is making all kinds of noise, but you're literally not going anywhere. That's what overthinking is like. You have all the senses, all the ambition, all the things you're trying to do, but you're literally going nowhere. When I first started this YouTube channel, I can remember watching YouTube tutorials, planning videos, scripting videos, figuring out what camera to use, what mic to get, the lighting, sorting out the set, all of that preparation, and I still didn't feel ready. And it wasn't until I just decided to finally hit the record button on my iPhone that anything really started to happen. The problem is, when we overthink too much, what's occurring is our brain starts to create more scenarios than it creates solutions. And the more scenarios that get created, it feeds this loop of new ideas or things to obsess over, which we then spend more time overanalyzing. My experience has been that once you take action, that creates feedback. And feedback is what creates the clarity to help you figure out what it is you're actually trying to do and need to get done. And speaking of clarity, that's the second reason why I believe we tend to believe that we need to feel ready before we take action. And I've talked to a lot of people, and I think what happens is there's a lot of us that are chasing dreams and goals that aren't actually ours. We're living out expectations from family, friends, society, or whatever it is they think success needs to look like. Let's say you're a ship and you set off to sail without having a clear direction or destination of where you're trying to go. Every little wave or turbulent water is going to feel like a setback or something that's trying to hold you back. But when you have a clear destination and clear thought on where you're trying to go, anything that comes up is going to feel like it's just part of the journey. Look, clarity doesn't mean you have to know every step of the way, but it means you have to be clear on the direction you're trying to go. It's like finding your why. So when I found this book, Find Your Why by Simon Sinek, I found it to be very powerful and recommend it to anyone that will listen to me because it really helped me to process and get clarity on my why. Ultimately, you can't feel ready for something you haven't clearly defined. And the third reason why you may never feel ready is because of a lack of self-trust. Yeah, you heard me. You don't trust yourself. You see, self-trust is built through evidence. And I've come to realize that every time you keep a promise to yourself, whether it's going to the gym, finishing the project you started, or following through on a goal, you teach your brain that you can rely on you. And it's in the absence of that evidence that builds the distrust in yourself. Some of you may have a desire to teach a class, start a group, own a business. And the reason why you feel like you're not ready, or perhaps that you have imposter syndrome, is because you can't lead other people if you keep breaking promises that you make to yourself. One of the great things about the internet is that there's a lot of information out there. And the bad thing about the internet is that there's a lot of information out there. We live in a time when people have such an abundance of information, yet it boggles my mind why they're still more paralyzed than ever. It's like when I was trying to get this YouTube channel started. Reading every article, watching every video, taking courses, it felt like progress, but honestly, it was avoidance and hitting that record button. And I remember spending time going down the YouTube rabbit hole, spending hours doing research. It was worse than buying those bananas I swore I would eat only to see them turn brown on my kitchen counter. We don't need more information, we need more implementation. And we have to stop really wasting time collecting more information and more things, convincing ourselves that that is what it's going to take to get us ready. And one last thing that I think about is You'll never feel ready if you're attached to comfort. See, our brains are wired for safety. It likes things that are predictable, familiar patterns, that sort of thing. So that's why even when you hate where you are, staying there feels more comfortable than stepping into the unknown. I remember years ago being in a job where I had a decision to make, would I stay or would I go? And it was the hardest decision in my life at that particular point. And it felt that way because I was comfortable. I liked my team, I liked the job, and change was going to be difficult. But I've always believed that the decision to leave that location was the biggest change in my life. You can't have expansion and comfort at the same time. One has to go. And I know it sounds cliche, but growth truly does come from outside the comfort zone. So to recap for a second, you'll never feel ready because ready isn't a feeling, it's a decision. Overthinking gives you the illusion of progress, but really it's just mental stagnation. Clarity is key because you can't feel ready for something you haven't defined. With lack of self-trust, it's that you don't need more capability. You really need to be confident in the capabilities you already have. Information overload is a killer for a lot of people because the pursuit of knowledge often becomes a disguise for fear. And with the attachment to comfort, everything feels safe, but it's growth that's coming to you from outside that comfort zone. Until the next video, I want you to remember that you already have what it takes today to make that first step. But we got to change that mindset that it's a feeling and take those things and put them into action. Yes, things are going to feel uncomfortable, but your future self will thank you for it. Peace and love.